Hello, hockey fans. Welcome back to the Hockey Flow. My name is Josh, and today is Monday, May 9th, 2022. Man, we had some big news in the NHL today. We did have some excellent games to go over, of course, as well. We are going to go through the scores from tonight's game, get my reactions to all those and the headlines. But again, we had some big news today in the NHL. The Islanders let go head coach Barry Trotz. Man, they fired him. Definitely not expected. That's not what I expected to see first thing this morning, I tell you what. So we are going to dive into that as well. But before we get to that, we are, of course, going to go through all the scores from tonight's games. We did have some excellent hockey tonight. The Avs did go ahead and close out the series against the Preds. We had some other wonderful headlines, so we'll go through some of those, go through some highlights as well. We will get into my picks for tomorrow night's games as usual for my betting friends out there. Get my takes. I think we did pretty well today, so I'm definitely not upset. But we will conclude the video, as usual, with another wonderful article deep dive. We are going back to The Athletic. I know that's 2 days in a row, but again, The Athletic is a pay-to-subscribe service, so I want to try to bring you guys that content in case you don't pay for that. But the other side of that is that there are some excellent writers at The Athletic. Today we're going to be looking at one by Kevin Kurz, and it is talking about the decision by the Islanders. We're going to hopefully get an answer, right? We're going to see the why behind that. But yeah, without further ado, and I always like to remind you guys, please, if you do enjoy the content, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe buttons. It really does help me out, helps the channel out, so we can keep doing these wonderful videos, because I love talking hockey. That's what I'm here for, and to be honest, I'm going to do it whether people are watching or not. It's a passion of mine, right? So, but I do appreciate any support. I love talking hockey with you guys. That's the fun of this. So please, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we'll keep churning out videos daily for you. But all right, so we are going to jump right into it. We did have 4 games, so we're going to go through the early games first. We have the Panthers Caps and Rangers Penguins, and I tell you what, right off the bat, Caps fans, I thought you had it. Man, I thought you guys had it up 2-1 for quite a bit. Then the Panthers come back and tie it. And then they come back and seal it in OT. And I tell you what, I don't know if this was the big momentum swing that maybe Panthers fans were hoping for. This game was still really close. I mean, again, we're going to overtime. But it was a really good game. Bummer for you Caps fans. But again, we're 2-2. I love it. This parity right now. All these series tied 2-2. Right now we're seeing the goal in overtime there by the Panthers. Yeah, it was a great game for Higgy. Had a couple goals. Good game for you Panthers fans. Hopefully you guys are thinking you're back on the right path, but on to the next. We did have the Rangers and Penguins as well, and this was a fun one for you Pens fans. My goodness, 7-2. I believe they popped a couple empty netters at the end, but still, Rangers fans, I'm not sure what to think. Shesterkin let in 6, so obviously it wasn't 2 empty netters then, but Shesterkin did let in 6 and did get pulled. Man, is that game 1 impact actually? Is that game 1 having a big impact on him? We did talk about that in a video a few days ago, another article from The Athletic, and I tell you what, he hasn't looked great, and they say all year we've been saying that the Rangers go as Shesterkin goes, and case in point, the young line scored another goal, which is great. Good for them. Good to see them doing that. Also, good to see Chris Kreider's okay. Took a puck to the throat area. Man, had a mark down there. Good to see he's okay though. Came back for the second period. But yeah, Pens fans, you guys should be happy. 3-1 series lead. I would have loved to see that one go 2-2. Stick with the theme. Avs Preds, like I said earlier, the Avs did close this one out. Close it out in Game 4, 4-0 sweep. This one was close though, Preds fans. You guys should be proud. Put up a valiant effort. It was close until the very end. Put up an empty netter to make it 5-3. But I tell you what, until Tays scored that one to make it 4-3, I thought the Preds, I don't know. I thought there was some magic there. We are going to see the goal from Trennan early in the game to tie it up. I tell you what, Nashville, if you were going to get one, I thought this was going to be it. But it's good to see Forsberg get a goal too. Finally, we'll be curious to see where he goes. Islander fans, I think he would look good in that Islander blue. But yeah, moving on to the game of the evening, we had Flames Stars. I guess maybe not game of the evening. since both of these were the late games. But Flames Stars, Flames offense woke up, as we can see here, 4-1. Good for you guys. We went through it yesterday in our video, did a deep dive, that wonderful article from Haley Salvian, where she kind of talked through where the Flames scoring has gone and how they can fix that. And tell you what, to put 4 up on Ottinger right now, that's a heck of an accomplishment. This right here is a heck of a save. I don't know. You're not going to see much better. So that's why we popped her in there. But Flames fans, heck yeah. I know NHL.com hadn't updated yet for us, but we are tied 2-2. Good for you guys going into Game 3. If anything, as a selfish Oilers fan, I want to see you guys go 7. All right, that will do it for tonight's games. We are going to move into our picks for the evening. Let's reflect back on tonight's games. We did pick the Panthers. We did have the Avs to sweep. Let's see. No, I'll have to come back to it. I believe off the top of my head, I think we were 3-1. But for today's games, for tomorrow night's games, we do have 4 more to pick from. So we are going to look at Bruins-Canes first. I do think the Canes are going to rebound. I don't know why, to be quite honest. To be fair, the Bruins were the better team the last 2 games, but I just can't believe that the Hurricanes team that we've seen the last 2 days is the Hurricanes team that we're going to see tomorrow. So, or today, depending when you're watching. But overall, I think the Canes are going to bounce back. I would not be surprised. Heck, Bruins could could dominate again, I guess. Man, they really shellacked them last game. They could dominate again. It could be 3-2, but I do see the Canes bouncing back. They've just been too good all season long. Lightning Maple Leafs. I'm picking the Maple Leafs. Like I said, this is that heavyweight bout, right? And it seems like each game is another round, and someone is just throwing the haymaker. And here we go. I think it's the Leafs' turn. They're going to do it. They're going to go up 3-2. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to close it. I feel like the Maple Leafs, history is not really on your guys' side, but maybe this is the year, right? I agree that if we can get past the Lightning, all right, you might have something cooking. Indeed. Blues Wild. I think this is going to be another great one. Series tied 2-2. I do like the Wild in this one. I took the Blues last time, but maybe that was just for parity's sake. I think the Wild are going to take care of business at home. We are going to take a 3-2 series lead going into Game 6. Wild, 100%. All right, Oilers-Kings. Spoiler alert, we're going with the Oilers. So far, we're 2-2 on my Oilers picks. Let's hope to go 3-2, take that 3-2 series lead at home. Maybe we can close it out Game 6. Yeah, let's do it. But yeah, Oilers, I see them winning. I see us rebounding. That game, man, last night that's not Oilers hockey. Let's go back to a few nights ago. That was Oilers hockey. So go Oilers, let's go Oilers. But yeah, those are our picks. Good luck to you guys if you're using them. But we are going to dive into another wonderful article. This one, it is titled, "Why Was Barry Trotz Fired? And What Comes Next for the Islanders?" This one is brought to us by Kevin Kurz, another excellent writer over at The Athletic. I really look forward to reading more of his articles. But long story short, this article broke down the press conference by Lou Lamoriello, the GM of the Islanders, and in reaction to the news that he let Barry Trotz go, which is huge, and it's very unexpected. If he wanted a job an hour later, 5 minutes later, he probably could have had one. He's arguably a top 3 coach of all time. Yeah, this is big. And for Islanders fans, I would be really curious what your thoughts are on this. Please fire away in the comments. Let's talk about it. But at the end of the day, the Islanders didn't make the playoffs this year, right? A little disappointing. I know we're moving into the new barn. We had to spend the first, 20 games on the road, and we'll kind of get into that. But this article was a wonderful breakdown of that press conference by the GM, and we're going to go through some of those talking points really quick for you. First and foremost, it was his decision. It was Lou's decision, no one else's. He even mentions that he didn't consult the players, and that he even made a comment that I would never do that. I would never even think of doing that. And to be honest, that's a little odd. But as the article continues on and they talk to some of the sources, it's obvious that the players were consulted because he waited a week to do this, and so the exit interviews had already happened for the season, so of course the players had an input. I'm sure it wasn't as simple as him asking them, hey, should I let Barry go, and them saying yes, but reading between the lines and things of that nature, it's his job as a GM to decipher those things, no matter how surprising it may be on our end. Now, the other thing that we did want to bring up was the contract. He did have 1 year left at $4 million a year. GM said that wasn't a factor. So, okay, we're not even gonna worry about it. We won't discuss it. I'm sure it had something to do with it. If he has a longer term contract, that decision's probably a little harder. It is. But he says it isn't a factor. Okay, we accept it. He also said that this poor season was not the only reason for this. This wasn't the sole reason, missing the playoffs and not living up to the expectations. I mean, Islanders fans, you guys had a good couple of last years before this one, losing out to the Lightning. That's nothing to look down on. They won the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. So he did say it wasn't only due to this poor season, though. He did also say that there's no rift between himself and Trotz. Lou, of course, is going to say that. But the other side of that, all the assistant coaches were retained. So, good for them. Hopefully, I believe they have an assistant that's ready to kind of take the reins, if you will. But I don't know if the Islanders are going to go that route. But, if they do, good for him. It's nice to see new blood out there as well. But the answer may actually lie with Trotz himself. And earlier in the season, he did mention that he probably could have handled the early season away games a little better, could have managed the players a little better, their energy, things like that, making sure people got enough rest. Those are important things, right? Like taking care of your body is a huge thing. So it's interesting that he called that out, and he even admitted he would have done it a different way. I don't know. Maybe that does back-endly tie into it. Players are upset, ties into their exit interviews. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But it's interesting when you can self-evaluate and see those things, and understand that, all right, I made a mistake. Let's learn from it. That's the biggest thing, and it sounds like he did. Another really cool factor that a lot of people don't, I guess, consider, but the article dives into. Kevin Kurz did a wonderful job with it, talking about the style of play, and does that factor in? The Islanders play a very particular way, and it's very taxing on them. Don't get me wrong, it's taxing when teams play the Islanders, but the article makes a great point of how do you feel when you're the one doing that game in and game out. It's tough. So I would love to do a video. Maybe that's something we'll do down the line, breaking down the Islanders system a little more, or the previous system, Trotz's system. Let's just say that. But style of play probably did play a factor. They had a few sources, quote unquote, speak to that. Well, if you do play this style year after year, it's taxing on the players. You need to get some new blood. So maybe the GM decided, instead of players, we have a good foundation, we have solid leaders. Let's stick with this, and let's just change the coach. Let's change our system. Let's try something new. But overall, the Islanders are always going to be a very neat case study in the NHL, and an outlier in so many ways. But the article, concludes with, no matter what, his tenure was a success. In general, he's one of the greatest coaches of NHL history, and his tenure with the Islanders was a success. A couple of fairly deep playoff runs. Losing to the Lightning, again, that's not a big deal. It sucks, right? It hurts, but you should be proud of that too in some ways. The Lightning ended up winning the Stanley Cup. But this is a wonderful article. I would highly recommend it. I'll leave the link in the description for the video. Please, go ahead and hop on there and check this out. And if you do have any articles that you guys would suggest or you find interesting, any topics, share those with me. You can share them with me through the comments, or we can always find me over on Twitter at the HockeyFlow22. But that will do it for the video. Thank you guys again for joining me tonight. As always, so much fun. I look forward to next time. If you do enjoy the content, please, go ahead, smash that like button. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be bringing you hockey every day. I'm excited for the off season because we're going to have a lot of special videos to go through, a lot of team ones. So, exciting things to come. Again, thank you guys so much. Until next time, cheers.